Hello and welcome to day 68 of 100 Days of Bad Video. Today's topic request comes from my mother. She asked me to speak about Don't Scratch That Itch. Where she came up with that, I have no idea. What she wanted me to reference it to, didn't give me any direction. How did she give me any directions on whether she wanted it off the top of my head or research? No direction whatsoever. So I did some research. And before I did the research, I had to really find what I was going to talk about or how to relate it to something that was relevant. And after a while, I came up with habits, more so the process or the stages of habits. I read a book not too long ago called Atomic Habits by James Clear, and he gives four stages of habits. He gives is the cue, which triggers your habit, which triggers your brain to initiate the behavior. Cravings are the motivational force behind every habit. Response is the habit you perform, and reward are the goals that every habit for goal of every habit, and its two goals is either there to satisfy us or to teach us. So, of course, looking at this, thinking of habits, I looked at over the years, and even in Atomic Habits, they don't really give a defined time frame to create a habit. Now, I have read in the past it takes 21 days, and I think we've all heard it takes 21 days to create a habit. And that I haven't found that accurate. What I found more accurate is it takes 21 to 90 days. So the first 21 days is about making it a habit or at least starting a habit. And then the 90 days is more about making it a permanent lifestyle. So with that being said, looking at the four stages, thinking about habits, I thought about, and even when I was reading the book, I thought about what is the hardest part of creating a habit, especially or breaking a habit if it's a bad habit. And that is stage two, the craving part. Now, the craving part are the motivational forces behind every habit, remember? So if it's the motivational force behind every habit, that if you're trying to break a bad habit like smoking or not eating chocolate or weaning yourself off of red meat or whatever things that you're trying to weed off, it's the cravings that get you. Me personally, yeah, it's breads and sweets. I have a sweet tooth like no another. I'll do good for a minute, and then those cravings hit me, and boom, I gotta be right. I'm gonna have a piece of bread, or I'm gonna have something sweet, have a cake. And usually when I go in for the cake or cookies or whatever, it's not just one. It's like a lot. So remembering that, excuse me, in reading the book, when it talks about the craving, I definitely resonated with that second one being the most hardest. That always brings me back to starting over. Like I'll do good, and then the cravings hit me. Those negative cravings hit me. That the habit I'm trying to break. And one other thing, when you're creating a habit, it's not just about giving up something, or when you're trying to break a habit. It's not about breaking a habit. It's about replacing a habit, replacing a bad habit with a good habit. Something you have to have something there to replace it. So looking at from a motivational standpoint or the craving standpoint, when I started craving something sweet, now I eat Jello. And Jello is lower in fat and all of that, and is better for me than grabbing a cake or cookie. I had to replace it. So recognizing that craving, I have that itch is there. I have to scratch that itch, that sweet itch that I need. I gotta scratch it. So I had to figure out for me the best way to not scratch that itch, meaning not scratch that itch with eating a piece of cake or eating cookies or eating pie or whatever sweets that's bad for me. I scratch that itch by eating something healthy or something sweet, but is less detrimental to my blood sugars and my waistline and all those things. So while I do scratch the itch, or when the itch gets to the point where I have to scratch it, I scratch it with something better than just which is better pardon me, something better for me, or better, or not as detrimental to me as the main itch that I'm looking to do. So, and at the end of the day, that reward is a satisfaction. That's all I'm looking for, is that sweet satisfaction. So whether I get it from cake or Jello, which is healthier or better for me, I'm being satisfied. So that's the point. So if you have to scratch an itch, make sure you scratch it with something less detrimental than the habit that you're trying to break. So that's a quick talk on don't scratch that itch. I hope it made sense. And with that being said, there's only one thing left to say. Life gives you two choices. You can either run with the big dogs or you can stay on the porch with the pups. My name is Aaron Allen, and I choose to run with the big dogs. See you out there running.